Good morning from the heart of New York City. This is Food School Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast dedicated to one thing: to learn and apply to eat better daily. I'm your host, Angela Shurina from Create Yourself That Today, your personal nutritionist, your personal health and wellness coach, your personal fat loss guru, and just someone with a lot of passion and obsession for healthy food, healthy eating, everything we put on our plate, in our mouth, to feel better, to get more energy, to look better and perform better on all levels, instead of feeling worse, getting sick and fat and other not so pleasant things that we can get if we don't pay attention to what we eat and allow ourselves to eat lower quality and foods that are not supposed to be in human diet, in a healthy human diet. Today, guys, we are talking about a subject that we haven't really talked about: starchy vegetables, resistant starch. Why on, for example, low carbohydrate diet, or when you're trying to lose fat, lose weight, you shouldn't be eating starch, even from things like sweet potatoes. So what are, when I'm talking about low carbohydrate diet or keto diet, that I'm very passionate about these days, I'm always telling people, eat your veggies, but non-starchy vegetables. So what are starchy vegetables? Because a lot of people get confused. Well, potato is easy, right? So potato is a starchy vegetable, but so are yams, sweet potatoes, different kinds of squashes. Taro is kind of another, not sweet potato, but the same family. Parsnips, but also things like corn or carrots and beets and peas. Those are also starchy vegetables. So, potatoes, sweet potatoes, all the yams, squashes of all kinds, and pumpkins, parsnips, green peas, corn, carrots, beets, those are all starchy vegetables. They contain starch, that is another form of carbohydrate. And starch is some people ask me, but can I eat sweet potato? It's full of antioxidants and it's better carb than, for example, white potato. But you see, even sweet potatoes are not, for example, recommended to diabetics. Why? Because starch, no matter where it comes from, it's sweet potato or non-sweet potato or white potato, it still raises your blood sugar, that raises your insulin, that of course, for diabetics, it's a huge thing. They cannot release enough insulin and their blood sugar stays high in most cases. So, sweet potatoes or not, it can kill them. But for fat loss and weight loss, you also want to avoid your blood sugar spikes. That's why eating any kind of starch, even starch from sweet potatoes, is not beneficial for your metabolic health, for your weight loss and fat loss, because that increases cravings, that makes your sugar spikes. And if you are on a keto diet, if you're trying to stay in a low carbohydrate diet, even if it fits your macros, I still wouldn't recommend eating starchy foods like sweet potatoes, because they will, again, spike your blood sugar, they will increase your cravings for more food, and they will contribute to keeping more fat on your body than you would otherwise. That's why I always recommend to avoid all starchy foods, and especially if you're just starting out, even beets and carrots, unless it shaved a little bit on your salad, then it wouldn't make such a difference, especially if they are raw, because starch from raw foods is different starch from cooked foods. So for example, if you eat potatoes raw, they will have more resistant starch. And guys, so what is resistant starch? You might hear a lot about it in a health community, but also among doctors, gut doctors who treat different gut conditions, but also for people with diabetes. Resistant starch can actually be beneficial for them, because resistant starch can actually increase insulin sensitivity and normalize blood sugar, and can helps to reduce cravings and assist with weight loss. Because guess what? Resistant starch compared to normal starch it's called resistant starch because it resists digestion, and it's not digested in our stomach, but instead it feeds our gut bacteria. In fact, resistant starch feeds the majority of our gut bacteria, increasing the number and the type of good gut bacteria. They say that a healthy gut is a gut with a diversity of gut bugs. So resistant starch helps to increase that diversity, helps to feed your good gut bacteria and produce short chain fatty acids that help to feed your colon's cells and improve health of your gut a lot. That is why resistant starch is kind of like a healing or a medicine for any kind of gut disorders, for any kind of autoimmune conditions in your gut or inflammatory conditions in your gut. So resistant starch, where can you find that? It's so good for you. It also increases satiety and makes you eat less. It's it's kind of like fiber, but it's different because again it feeds more of your gut bacteria, and it seems to be the preferable food for your gut bacteria. And in fact, tribes of hunter-gatherers, in their diet, resistant starch is actually their diet is really rich in resistant starch, and that might contribute to their gut biodiversity and their gut health, and why they end up staying lean, seemingly consuming a lot of carbohydrates, but a lot of it is, again, resistant starch that resists digestion. So where does that starch come from? Good starch, raw potatoes, but you can get raw potato starch, and it's really cheap. You can buy it at the store, and you can add it to, your smoothies or your soups, or just sprinkle it on your food per day. It's recommended to get 40-45 grams of resistant starch. So raw potato starch. Also, resistant starch can be found in green bananas, in plantains, in legumes. But legumes, I wouldn't recommend to eat for other reasons, because besides resistant starch, legumes and beans, they have normal starch, and plus they have a lot of antinutrients and lectins that might cause a lot of digestive issues. So I would recommend to get raw potato starch as a powder and add it to your food, to your smoothies, to your soups, because again, it's kind of bland and it just adds thickness. But it feeds your gut bacteria again, and it's going to reduce cravings. It's going to assist you with weight loss, with fat loss. It's going to stabilize your blood sugar. It's going to increase your insulin sensitivity, meaning that you're going to metabolize any kind of carbohydrates and sugars better in your diet. And if, for example, you're eating high carb meal, adding resistant starch can decrease the blood sugar spikes and what they called glycemic index and glycemic load of your meals. But where else can you get resistant starch, or at least increase the amount of resistant starch? You would be surprised, but for example, if you cook things like rice or potato, and then you cool them down in the fridge and eat them cold, then the amount of resistant starch will increase, and that's how, and also the amount of absorbable carbohydrates will decrease. So if you cook your rice, if you cook your potato, but also pasta, if you cool them down for at least several hours, and then you eat them without reheating, cold, you're gonna get more resistant starch, less carbohydrates, less calories, and that will help you to control your blood sugar spikes, your cravings, your hunger, will help you with fat loss and weight loss. And I guess another piece of advice I'd give you today is how to decrease the blood sugar spikes, how to decrease the carbohydrate load in any meal that you are eating, because again, that's important for cravings and for the amount of fat that you carry on your body. So adding to your meal more fiber, in a form of vegetables or in a form of added fiber, like fiber powder, adding some lemon juice and vinegar, for example, to your salad will also help to reduce the amount of blood sugar spikes, the amount of insulin released. Then adding protein, having fats, and eating not fully cooked vegetables, and if you eat pasta or something like that, that will all help you to reduce the carbohydrate load of your meal and your blood sugar spikes. But to recap, guys, this episode was all about starch, and why you shouldn't be eating starchy vegetables, even sweet potato, because again, it's gonna increase your blood sugar, it's gonna spike your insulin, that's gonna increase your cravings for more food, for unhealthy food, for more carbohydrates, that's gonna make your body to hold onto more fat to store energy instead of releasing fatty acids or fats for energy. So you want to avoid starch even from things like sweet potatoes, like beets and carrots and corn and green peas, and parsnips and all kinds of pumpkins and squashes. So all of that you want to avoid as much as possible if you want to lose the most fat, if you want to make it easier for yourself to stay on any kind of diet. And then, of course, you want to increase the amount of resistant starch in your diet, if any starch, that will actually help you with your blood sugar control, to reduce your cravings, that will feed your 90% of your gut bacteria, that will help to increase diversity and number of your gut bacteria. It will help you again with fat loss. It will help you to stabilize your blood sugar, less cravings, less hunger. And where do you get this resistant starch? Well, the best source is get and buy, and it's super cheap, raw potato starch powder, and add to it to your soups, to your smoothies, sprinkle it in your salads, or add it to your yogurts, non-dairy yogurts if you eat those. Also, you can increase the amount of resistant starch and decrease the amount of carbohydrates in cooked and cooled rice, potatoes, and pastas. So this is the best way, or blood sugar friendly and fat loss friendly way to enjoy your rice, your potatoes, and your pastas, is to cook them, cool them down, and for several hours, and eat them cooked. And then there is resistant starch in green bananas and green bananas and legumes that I wouldn't recommend eat for resistant starch, but So that's it, guys. That's it for today. Let me know what you thought about it, what are your thoughts on starchy veggies, on starch, on resistant starch. If you have any questions about starch, about resistant starch, about cooking and cooling down your potatoes and rice, if you want to enjoy them from time to time. So if you need any help with designing your meal plan, your diet, your nutrition plan to lose fat, to build muscles, especially if you're on a keto, on a low carbohydrate diet, it might be confusing. It might seem like really difficult for average person who's not spending all their time thinking about nutrition and reading all the studies and books. It might seem difficult to design your own nutrition and meal plan, your individual plan that serves you, that works for you. So shoot me email to angela@createyourself.today. But if you have any question about anything, food or diet or fat loss related and health related, shoot me email to angela@createyourself.today. And guys, today is Monday, and if not Now then, when are you gonna start your healthy eating, your exercise program, your fitness program? Start it while it's still summer, while it's still nice outside, while you might still have a little bit more time to dedicate to yourself. Start your healthy diet, your movement, your exercise program. And guys, thank you for listening. I love you all. Appreciate all your feedback and you being here. And till next time, eat better daily.